But the music with the background will probably be of the theme song so far we've had for Southman. Scene 2 is going to be fade in to pitch dark. And the music's going to decrease, and then we're going to fade out to the next scene. But I think the first scene we want to have after the fade back is the music stops, and we got a picture of Southman. And maybe his front page of him, maybe with still this a gas mask on, and he pulls out an iPod, puts on his earphone, he plays it, and then we're going to have kind of like a radio music that Southman's playing as he's walking, and he's got his earphones in. And we want to kind of play that. And there's mountains in the background. He puts them on, and then he plays it, and then it plays, and then throughout the whole scene of him walking, we have that. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to be very general. I don't think my script needs to be so detailed where I cover every single scene we're going to do. The day is still, we still want to have it being, daytime. It's still daytime. We could have it a little bit more darker in some descriptions of what's happening. We probably want to start out on the mountains, where he's walking along the mountains on trails, and then we're going to have him walking by some of these old buildings. There's probably going to be a lot of intercuts. Maybe or cuts too. There may be some there may be some transitions like dissolve to things like that, or cut to the action you're gonna end up see is wind blowing, creaking buildings. Southman looks a lot different in this one. He's going to have like kind of a jacket on. There may just be a t-shirt, or there may be a hoodie. We're planning on probably some of the description of the location may be cold. It may be winter. We want to try to aim for it being cold so that I can wear the stuff. He's going to have a bandana that's made of an old shirt. This Southman's going to be kind of look a little bit more post-apocalyptic. As we've gone on, we've gotten better with his costume. Things like that. Maybe on the mountains he will have a gas mask, but we won't always have him having a gas mask as the appearance of him. The actions or the things that the character does, again, no dialogue in this film, but there's going to be a few things we do need to mention for this one. I think it would be the action or attitude or direction for a character. So, Southman, it would have little brackets, and we would just have him walking. We would have the same thing for his dog, Choxy. They both be walking the wasteland, walking on the mountains. But there also needs to be a sense of searching. Like they're searching for their nephews. He doesn't know where he's going. He's just trusting they're out there. So you want to give that kind of appearance of that's what the actor's going through. So this would be like one of the scenes, a part of this big campus of scenes. Maybe you could technically call this scene 4 or something. I don't know. And in this scene, he walks in a building. He looks around with his dog, and there's an eagerness about him in this. The location, like I said, is inside a house. That's the actions that are in the event. Maybe it's darker. Maybe it's midday or something like that. The day wants to kind of give maybe a darker feel because of the dispressedness maybe to it. But like he's going inside a building and he's looking around. He just can't find his nephew. So we want to have a sense of disappointment on his face. We want to have a sense of sighing. Kind of like, as he looks in and he sees the building, nobody's there. We also want to have, with that scene, another scene that flashbacks to maybe back to the bunker scenes in episode 5, where he's found his nephew's stuff, or maybe back to the truck with the picture. Those are some scenes that we can include, just some flashback scenes. There could be also, there could be that sound of the radio recording playing as he's searching. It could be part of him searching. Some of this radio recording has that voice of, Viennese voices said there's shelter in Colorado, shelter in Colorado. We really kind of maybe want to do that maybe when he's walking into the building. We don't want to do that the whole time. In other words, he walks out kind of in disappointment with his dog, finding nobody there. And this intercut is where the location that's being described, what you're seeing. The time of day, I think, is going to maybe morning. The location is this beautiful field. And it's dark at this point, and then the action that's happening is, just kind of cold and dreary looking. And what's going to happen in this scene is the sun is going to be coming up beyond the mountains or horizon. Or we could do it at Palmer's Park. Southman's there, he's with his dog. His dogs may be sitting. And he's been down, like shoulders kind of lumped down in disappointment, not finding his nephews. We see him down, like shoulders down, kind of like this scene over here with the dog, maybe down low or something like that. And then when he looks up, kind of in a little bit of amazement. And then the sun, next scene is the sun coming up. And then it cuts to the next scene, and there's a smile that goes upon his face. Maybe even we cut to the dog with a smile on her face. Although that may provide more of a humor. Or we might do a back scene with the dog looking. Yeah, a back scene with both of them looking. And then he looks down. Looks down as the sun shines on this beautiful field. He looks around, looks at this beautiful field. He looks down, and then as he looks down, the scene cuts to a flower. Beautiful flower. And he, maybe, even if it's a daisy, which is a weed, okay, looks at a flower. The camera shoots a flower, maybe down low, kind of artistic with the sun shining, okay. Then it cuts again to him reaching down to the flower, maybe a side view like this, reaching down the flower, picks it up. The next scene is shooting here. This scene is picturing it's capturing the idea that God is love. Even though he's separated from his nephews, he's not separated from the love of God. And maybe in that picture, when he's looking at that, the next scene it cuts is back to the verse that Southman read back in the truck. And then that puts kind of the hopeness to this. And I think it's about then that we want to have a transition and we want to have a fade out. The music is changed from the radio music to, and even the music's changed with the scene when he walks in the building. It's changed to hopeful music. All right, so far we're getting the script pretty down.